Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator, today with more Pillar Loves Tabletop games, with one of my favorite games ever, City of Remnants. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so to talk about the game, the goal is to end it with the most renown. Renown comes in these little point tokens. You get renown by taking control of spaces on the board, by building development tiles, and holding on to them. You will need a gang member per spot they occupy to get renown at the end of the turn. If they're overlapping one of these spots, then they'll get added onto it as well. There's also ways to get renown, like winning battles, if you have certain abilities for it, or just straight up buying renown to the black market. But first, we set up the game. If we're playing with 2 or 4 players, we use this side. And if we're playing with 3 players, we use this side. If it's marked with a hazard, then it just can't be occupied at all. Each player will get a faction. With that faction, they will get their deck of cards. There will be gang leader, gang members, and abilities. They will also get 7 figures representing the gang members, but not necessarily specific to the cards. A little bit of a surprise you can do to other players that way. Let's go there. We'll get to that. So each player will have that. They'll shuffle their deck of cards and draw 4. Players start at 4 influence, and if they increase their influence, they'll have access to more cards in hand. So draw 4. Okay. Each player starts out with 2,000 arcs. Arcs are the money for the game. They come in denominations of 1 and 5 thousands. As part of the setup, there will be a random selection of developments available. 3 for the slums, 3 for Midtown, 3 for the heights. There are 6 cards of each, so there's a good deal of replayability with that. Then there'll be a random first player to receive the first player token, and they will take the first turn by having 4 actions, and they will get to start. Just about everything you need to know is kept track with this card. You know how many actions you have left, your influence, how to get more influence. We can do round phases. At the start of the round, except the first round of the game, is the reset. Players get 2,000 more arcs and set their actions to 4. Then we prepare what we need to for the new round. So there'll be 4 gang members available to bid for. There will be 4 new black market cards for players to buy, just straight up. And then the players take their turns. Ooh. Okay, so actually taking the actions. The first is to recruit, bid on new gang members. You'll select one of the face-up gang members available. If there are none available, you can blind draw at the top. Then you're committing to that action. The player to your left, I believe, starts the first a bid, and then or they can pass. You have to have an action available to bid, though, if you're not the person taking the action right now. So they can bid or pass. Then the next player can bid or pass until it gets to the player taking the action at first. They either pay the amount that the last person bid to take the gang member and add a new figure to their gang member pool, or they let the other player take it. They have to spend the money. They'll get the new gang member. They'll also lose an action for doing that. It's still the player's turn, though, so they can still potentially try again. They may not get the one that they wanted, but they can still try to get something. The card will then go, I believe, to their discard pile as well. It has been a little while since I played, so sorry if I'm a bit rusty on this. Okay. Oh, it goes to the hand. It goes to your hand, which is a nice little advantage. Yeah, being able to use them right away. It's worth noting that different factions get different values out of per battle out of different gang members. So, like for the humans and the Lentry, a trader is worth a 2 in battle. For the Igaret and the Nesu, it's only 1. It's worth building up, your gang members because 1, you're going to need them to control more developments, and 2, if you can get 10 or more on the board, you can increase your influence. But anyway, move a number of figures equal to your influence up to 3 spaces each. Moving them from your pool onto the board is 1. And then you can move orthogonally. So 2, 3, or 2, 3. You can only attempt 1 battle per turn. So if someone else had their figures, like here, you're going to move in, then say, let's actually show some extra stuff on the board to make it interesting. Let's say they had figures here and here. And I've got them out, and I've got like 4 moves. So I can move 1, 2 in. I could not go start this other battle, but I could move them to be orthogonally adjacent to support in this battle. The battles are done by taking a number of cards from your hand, or cards blind drawn off the top of your deck, and between the two of them, not playing any more than your influence. So let's say I hold on to that one. I'm going to play these 3 secretly, and that one 4th. They'll do the same for theirs. So I've got a grand total of 8 to whatever they're playing. And then you'll also get a number of dice equal to the figures you have in and adjacent to the battle. So there's 2 here and 2 adjacent. They've got 3. So we'll add an extra 5. Let's see. Let's say they didn't have any cards, because if you have no cards in hand and nothing to pull from your draw pile, you don't want to be in battle. You want to refresh as soon as possible. But let's say they're on a just straight up dice roll. Alright, so I managed to beat them in battle. They lose their gang member. You then lose... If you lose a gang member, you lose a card that you played in battle. If not, then you lose one from your discard first, and then either your hand or your deck. And the cards removed from the game, this goes back to your supply instead. Now, some cards have special abilities in battle. Like, Ret on Shadow is second chances. His defeat equals friendship. So I'll take whatever card they would have discarded and then add a new gang member to the pool. Now, there is still a battle to be won here. So these get discarded for the time being. And we're going to fight again. Yeah, the range on the dice is on average 1.5. Blank, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. The more figures you have, the better your odds. Although playing certain cards turns some figures into near one-man armies. So there's that. But eventually, if we win the next battle, this is now no longer contested. We're done fighting. If there is a development here, we're taking full control of it. If it's only occupying that one space. If it's occupying 2 spaces, we're going to have to fight for the other half of it. But at least they're not using it. So after moving battle, that's that action. There's production and development. There are certain developments that allow you to put product tokens on them when you do a product develop action. So this is Stardust District Light. Say we got somebody back here. So it's produce 1 product token. Every building you have that has that action gets those product tokens. Other things might be a little bit more straightforward, like roll a die, and if you roll high enough, get money, or other certain things. Where that'll then tie into is sell. Sell a number of your product tokens equal to your influence. So if I've been spending the last few actions building up, I could probably sell those and get the money that they're worth. For this one, it's 3,000 arcs. So let's say I built up like 3 of those. I'm going to sell those for 9,000. That's a lot of money, which is what's also necessary for development. The other half of the production action is develop. So after you've done all the production, you have the option to buy new developments. They are limited to certain districts. The Stronghold, for example, is unlimited. You can put it anywhere. You probably want to put it on your home, just to be sure. You can put it on the center just to be a jerk. Yeah. As long as they fit inside their restricted zones, should be fine. For example, there's Slave Trader, which can only be a midtown, so it's going to be stuck here. Warehouse is a little bit nicer, it can overlap, and so on and so forth. There will be abilities that you can use to reduce the cost of developments, but really you're just going to need a crap load of money. The most expensive development in the game is, I believe, 12,000? No, 11,000. The weapons district. Yeah. Developments are expensive, but they're part of how you get renown. So you want to get them and control them and make absolutely sure nobody can take them. Anyway. Buying from the black market. You don't have to worry about bidding against anyone. You just straight up pay the cost and you get it. If there's no black market cards to buy, you do not get to draw off the top. You're just stuck. Then the card goes to your hand. If you bought a black market card, you also can buy renown. It's 3,000 apiece. And you can buy an amount of renown up to your influence. Let's say you bought a black market card and you have like 12,000 arcs left over and you're sitting at 4 influence. You can spend all that money and just buy points. It's crazy, but it's getting what you need to win the game. But yeah, black market stuff includes permanent effects like getting more cards or renown for a battle, or play it and discard it to increase the movement or something. There's my personal favorite out of this. Where'd you go? The Wardrone. It is a universal gang member. It's 4. You'll get another gang member figure. It's pretty nice. And then there's Forbidden Knowledge. Every black market card in your deck at the end of the game is an extra point of renown to your final score. Every Forbidden Knowledge card is worth an increasing amount of points based on how many you already have. If you have 1, it's 3. If you have 2, that's 10 total. If you have all 3, that's 21. Pay attention to who's buying up the Forbidden Knowledge, and don't let them capitalize on that. But anyway, in lieu of anything else to do, there's a refresh. Discard as many cards from your hand as you want to. Shuffle your discard pile. Put it face down under your deck. And then draw enough cards that your hand has cards equal to your influence. So we go back up to 4. If you think you've got a battle coming, you absolutely need to refresh. Now, normally at the end of a turn, the start of the next turn, you'll draw back up to your influence anyway. But sometimes just taking a refresh action is for the best. Because it lets you get your discards back as well. And then, yeah. Also, as part of the reset phase, you can do a refresh action for free. But sometimes you don't want to wait that long. Okay. Now, as kind of an extra thing you can do on your turns, there's gaining influence. It's requires certain conditions, like control 5 or more developments, 2 or more heights developments, the green ones. Just straight up pay 12,000 arcs. Control 10 or more figures on the board. There we go. Or achieve an attack total of 18 plus during a battle. You can achieve each of them only once. The game doesn't come with a way to keep track, even though it should be kind of obvious. So I made a little index card thing for it to like put an extra guy on the first 2 that you claim, and then when you get your third one, you may as well just pull them back because there's no way to get more than 7 influence anyway. But yeah, influence will affect movement, buying renown through the black market, selling product tokens, and your hand size. And your ability to fight in battle. And playing cards. Eventually, everyone will be out of actions to do. And it'll go on to the next phase. You got patrol. So, every turn, there'll be 2 new patrols. Because we're living on a planet that has been controlled by these galactic conquerors that like to take their prisoners of war and other peoples from places they've conquered and shove them all into one tiny city. And every faction is basically trying to prove themselves that, hey, we can lead all of us together against these bastards once and for all. Through getting renown. But anyway, the coordinates will be different based on the number of players. And with a little bit of flavor text as well. So we're playing on a 4-player board. So we'll draw randomly. So there's C5. And they're face up, so you know how difficult they're going to be. D2. G7, A7, D5, and F2. Yeah, the overall spread is per card is going to be 1 per district. They will never spawn on your on the home spots, and then certain spots will get hit more often, like the corners of the midtown and the center of the heights. To fight them, you have 2 options. One is just spend the money. You can bribe them to go away. You don't have to roll on the alert chart, they just disappear. If you do fight them, you're just straight up playing cards and rolling your own dice, and you're trying to beat them. Defenders always win ties, by the way. And I believe the same thing applies to the UI patrol. Yeah. Zones. Equal to or higher, actually. So the players do win on ties against the YCU. So if you defeat them, you're going to have to roll on the YCU alert chart and apply whatever happens. Lose arcs or give renown to a neighboring player, or draw another YCU coordinate card, or receive arcs, or receive renown. I wanted to do like a special bonus rule to this game that if all the players wipe out all the YCU before the next group comes in, because that would normally clear them anyway. Everybody gets a renown for successfully working together to clear them the hell out. But anyway, defeat. Those tokens will go back into the bag. But yeah, anything left over by the next YC alert just disappears. But yeah. After that, we reward renown. Spaces occupied that are worth renown. Developments are taken from the pile of 200. Here's my one little complaint about the game, despite its other issues. It doesn't come with enough 1 tokens for each player to have 4 ones. It comes in with exactly 15, which is very little wiggle room to work with in a 3-player, and basically non-existent in the 4. So I've added these to the game for my copy as extra ones. But the renown pile is supposed to be 200, and then on the turn that runs out, that's the end of the game. If a player would need to receive renown and there's none of the actual tokens left, they still count it anyway. But they'll take their final total of renown, add whatever black market cards were worth renown to them, and the highest score is the winner. If there's a tie for renown, then it goes off who's still got a crap load of money. There's no tiebreaker after that. My house rule for that instance is whoever's controlling the center. And if not the center, then the most out of these 4. Yeah. Yeah, ties probably won't happen too often, I think. But still, it's worth having something to figure out to that end. Why the fuck do I love this game? I got this... Okay, so, story. I got this game originally after coming back to Pueblo from Port Angeles. So this game has that emotional value right there to me. It's also close to the kind of... This is probably not exactly cyberpunk. It is, however, close to what I personally like, which is the militant kind of cyberpunk. Like Quake 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog Saturday morning cartoon. And it hits a lot of similar notes with like having, gangs and developments and products and black market stuff. And oppressive forces keeping people down. And just infamy. There's a lot of crazy ideas here. And the fact that they're just trying to come together is kind of admirable. But I really like the flavor of the game. The mechanics might be hit or miss with some people, but I find them enjoyable enough. There might be arguments to be made for the factions and whether they're balanced or not. But I think it's fun enough, even with the factions being very different. If you're creative enough, you can really make the most of what you specialize in, and maybe cover your weak points with gang members and other black market stuff and developments. There's just so much going on, and it's crazy awesome. I think it's fun. I love it. Check it out if you can. There's a re-implementation called Neon Gods that I've not tried myself. It's not as high up as this one is on BGG, but maybe that one might be worth taking a look at as well. But yeah, City Remnants, check it out, enjoy it, and enjoy the flavor of the world. I almost want to see if there's anyone working on like a TTRPG set in this universe, because that would be fun, I think. Yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Pillar. I'll see you next time.